Welcome to AI Without the Mystery. This presentation is a friendly introduction to artificial intelligence, ChatGPT, prompts, tokens, and Codex. You do not need a technical background to follow along. We will focus on practical ideas, what these tools are, what they can and cannot do, how to communicate with them clearly, and how to use them without giving up your own judgment. Think of this session as a guided first step. The goal is not to memorize every product or technical term. The goal is to understand the basic landscape, try one useful task, and remain confidently in control of the result. By the end of this presentation, you will know what to do next with AI. We will follow a simple 5-step learning path. First, understand the basics. What AI, ChatGPT, tokens, applications, and Codex are. Second, learn how to write and improve a useful prompt. Third, manage context so the AI has the right information without unnecessary clutter. Fourth, review the output carefully, recognize risks and limitations, and verify important claims. Finally, begin with one small, practical, reviewable task. You do not need to master everything today. The goal is to become informed, confident, and responsible, ready to choose an appropriate tool, communicate clearly, and remain in control of the result. You probably already use AI every day. Navigation apps analyze routes and traffic. Search and recommendation systems help you find useful pages, products, music, or videos. Email and writing tools filter spam and suggest autocomplete. Translation and voice assistants help people communicate or control devices. Phone cameras can automatically improve photographs. These systems do not all work in exactly the same way, but they show that AI is often a quiet feature inside familiar products, not only a robot or a chat window. Think about the examples on this slide. Which of them have you used today? Recognizing everyday AI makes the subject less mysterious and gives us a practical starting point. Here is a simplified way to understand how AI works. It learns patterns from many examples, such as text, images, audio, and code. It then uses those learned patterns to produce a result. Depending on the task, that result might recognize something, predict what comes next, recommend an option, generate new content, or assist with a decision. The system is not copying one perfect answer from a hidden encyclopedia. It is producing a result from patterns, the current instructions, and the information available to it. That is why an answer can look polished and still be wrong. The key message is simple. AI produces useful results from learned patterns, but it does not have perfect human-like understanding. The AI ecosystem becomes easier to understand when we separate four related ideas. Artificial intelligence is the broad field. An AI model is the underlying engine that learns patterns and produces results. An application is the experience people actually open and use. An AI agent can plan, use tools, and complete several steps toward an outcome. Codex is an example of a coding and project agent. These ideas are connected, but they are not interchangeable. A model name alone does not describe the full experience. The application, available tools, permissions, and human controls all affect what the AI can actually do. Remember the simple relationship shown here. The model is the engine, while applications and agents put that engine to work. You may hear names such as GPT from OpenAI, Claude from Anthropic, Gemini from Google, Llama from Meta, and DeepSeek. These are examples of model families, not a permanent ranking. Within each family, providers may offer several models with different strengths. One may prioritize quality, another speed, another lower cost, and another the ability to work with images, audio, long documents, or code. The most powerful model is not automatically the best choice for every task. Availability, privacy requirements, connected tools, and the need to verify the result also matter. Model names and version numbers change quickly, so focus on the job you need to accomplish instead of trying to memorize the entire market. Most people do not interact with a raw model. They use an application built around one or more models. AI applications are the products people actually use. General assistants include ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, Microsoft Copilot, and Meta AI. Research-oriented experiences may help find sources or work through a collection of documents. Workplace tools can connect AI to email, documents, meetings, and spreadsheets. Coding applications include Codex, GitHub Copilot, and Claude Code. Creative tools can help produce images, video, presentations, and design concepts. These examples are not a complete list or a popularity contest. Applications differ in their models, web access, citations, file connections, privacy controls, price, and availability. Begin with the task, then choose the tool. Before sharing information, also check whether the application is approved for your organization. Now let us look more closely at one widely used application, ChatGPT. ChatGPT is a capable assistant, not an automatic source of truth. It can explain, draft, summarize, brainstorm, organize, compare, and analyze. These strengths make it useful for creating a first draft or turning an unclear idea into something easier to examine. But useful does not mean infallible. ChatGPT may misunderstand the request, miss important context, use outdated information, or sound confident while being wrong. Treat the response as working material, not an unquestionable conclusion. Verify important claims, inspect original sources, and review decisions before acting. Use ChatGPT for assistance and acceleration, while keeping a person responsible for the final result. A prompt is anything you send to an AI system. It may be a question, a task, a request for feedback, a document to transform, or the beginning of a conversation. You do not need secret commands or special technical language. Imagine that you are briefing a capable assistant who does not yet know your situation. Tell the assistant what you need and provide the information that would help it make the right choices. The AI can work only with what you include, what is already in the conversation, or what it is authorized to access. A prompt is not a magic formula. It is a clear briefing that can be improved as the conversation continues. A useful prompt usually contains a few recognizable elements. A strong prompt often contains 6 elements. First, the goal. What should be accomplished? Second, the context. What does the AI need to know? Third, the audience. Who is the result for? Fourth, the requirements. What must the response include, avoid, or respect? Fifth, the format. Should the result be an email, checklist, table, outline, or something else? Finally, the success check. How should the result be evaluated? Not every prompt needs all 6 elements. Include the details that remove meaningful ambiguity. For example, the audience can change vocabulary and tone, while a length limit can make the response immediately usable. Good prompting is not about making every request long. It is about giving the AI enough direction to make better choices. The difference becomes clear when we compare a vague prompt with a focused one. Consider the prompt, write an email about the meeting. It is not wrong, but the AI must guess the audience, purpose, tone, important details, and desired length. Now compare it with this version. Write a friendly follow-up email to the 5 volunteers who attended yesterday's event planning meeting. Thank them, summarize the 3 decisions below, and list the next actions with their owners. Keep it under 200 words. The improved prompt supplies the information needed for important choices. It is longer because the task requires more direction, not because long prompts are always better. Relevant context reduces guessing, makes the first draft more useful, and often saves time that would otherwise be spent correcting the result. Even a good first prompt does not have to produce the final answer in one attempt. The first response is usually a starting point. You can continue the conversation by saying, "Make this easier for a beginner, give me 3 alternatives," or "What information are you missing?" You can ask the AI to challenge an assumption, identify uncertainty, check the draft against your requirements, or give you a hint instead of the answer. When the AI misunderstands, correct it early. A focused follow-up is often more efficient than rewriting the entire prompt. Productive prompting includes listening, evaluating, and redirecting. The goal is not to discover one perfect sentence that controls the system forever. The goal is to guide a useful conversation while keeping your own purpose and judgment active. These conversations are processed in small pieces called tokens. AI models do not process text exactly as people see words. They divide information into smaller pieces called tokens. A token may be a whole word, part of a word, punctuation, a character, or a piece of code. As a rough English guideline, 100 tokens is about 75 words, but the exact count changes with language, formatting, numbers, tables, and code. Tokens are used for the instructions you send, the conversation history, connected information, and the response the model creates. Some systems also track cached or reasoning tokens differently. Most users do not need to count every token manually. The key idea is that tokens measure information processed. They are not a number of questions stored in a wallet. All those pieces must fit within the model's available working context. The context window is the amount of information a model can work with at one time. Imagine a working desk. The desk may need to hold system instructions, your current request, earlier messages, uploaded documents, code, tool results, and enough open space for the response. As the desk fills, older details may be summarized or become less prominent. Long conversations, large files, and lengthy tool output can consume a great deal of context. A larger desk helps, but adding irrelevant material can still distract the model. Context is not everything the AI has ever seen. It is the information currently available for this task. Clear organization helps the model use that limited working space effectively. This leads to a practical question. How can we use tokens and context more effectively? Using tokens effectively does not mean making every prompt as short as possible. A vague prompt may create several rounds of correction, while a focused, slightly longer prompt can save work overall. State the desired outcome, include relevant background, and point to the exact file or section that matters. Share the useful part of a long log instead of everything. Avoid repeating the same instruction, and correct a wrong direction early. During a long project, ask for a checkpoint that records key decisions, completed work, and remaining steps. Keep related work together, but start a fresh conversation for an unrelated task. Token efficiency is really information efficiency. Provide enough useful context to prevent confusion without burying the goal in unnecessary material. Tokens are also often confused with product limits, credits, and billing. Tokens, product limits, credits, and API billing are related, but they are not the same thing. Tokens measure the information a model processes, they are not coins in a wallet. Product limits control access and usage. Some agentic features may share an allowance, while ordinary ChatGPT features may have separate caps. Credits can extend supported usage when a plan allows them, and availability depends on the account and plan. API usage is billed and limited separately through its own account system. Exact rules can vary by plan, model, account, and current policy, so check your plan and usage page for the details that apply to you. The main takeaway is that ChatGPT and Codex do not share one universal token bucket. Some allowances may be shared, but there is no universal token balance. ChatGPT is usually the better starting point when the work is primarily conversational. It can explain, write, summarize, brainstorm, compare, and help you discuss an idea. Codex is designed for coding and project work where it can act inside an environment. It may inspect files, understand existing code, make changes, run commands, test results, and complete a sequence of project steps. The boundary is not absolute, and product capabilities continue to evolve. A useful rule is this: use ChatGPT when you mainly need a thinking and communication partner. Use Codex when the task requires acting on a project and verifying the work. Both still require clear instructions and human review. Codex becomes especially useful when it can follow a disciplined work loop. A strong Codex workflow follows a disciplined loop. First, understand the requested outcome. Next, inspect the relevant files and existing project structure. Then create a plan, make the scope change, run available checks, and report the result. Verification may include tests, builds, code quality checks, or visual inspection. This is more reliable than making a change without understanding the surrounding project or checking whether it worked. Codex is most valuable when it can both perform the work and provide evidence about the result. Human review remains important, especially when a change affects security, privacy, production systems, payments, or other sensitive areas. The quality of that workflow begins with the way the task is described. Compare the vague instruction, "Fix the login page," with a focused task. Investigate why the login form accepts an empty email address. Update only the login form validation, preserve the current appearance, add an accessible error message, and add or update the relevant tests. Run the tests and summarize the cause, changes, and results. This version defines the outcome, scope, constraint, quality requirement, verification, and reporting. It tells Codex what success looks like and how to prove it. Good project instructions do not need to dictate every technical decision. They should identify what must be true when the work is finished, what boundaries must be respected, and what evidence the person reviewing the change will need. As AI becomes more convenient, we also need to protect the human skills that make review possible. People have always used tools to offload mental work. Calculators, maps, search engines, and spell checkers can free attention for more valuable tasks. Offloading is not automatically harmful. The concern appears when we repeatedly delegate a skill we are still trying to develop or maintain. If AI always remembers, explains, writes, evaluates evidence, or solves the problem for us, we may get less practice doing those things independently. Emerging research raises concerns about reduced effort, recall, ownership, and critical engagement. However, current evidence does not establish that ordinary AI use causes irreversible physical brain deterioration. A more accurate concern is cognitive over-reliance. Convenience can weaken skills when it consistently replaces the mental practice those skills require. The answer is not to reject AI. It is to keep your brain actively involved. A healthy collaboration with AI can follow 5 steps. Think first. Form an initial idea, prediction, outline, or question before asking for help. Ask AI second, using it to generate alternatives, critique your reasoning, or reveal a missing perspective. Examine the response and identify what is correct, questionable, unsupported, or incomplete. Improve the result yourself using your own judgment. Finally, explain the result in your own words. If you cannot explain it, you may not yet understand it. It is also helpful to practice important skills without AI from time to time. Do not ask AI to do all your thinking. Ask it to help you think better. Keeping people in the loop is even more important when the decision has real consequences. AI can produce incorrect facts, fabricated citations, biased suggestions, insecure code, or incomplete reasoning. Verify important claims using reliable original sources. Test calculations in code rather than trusting the explanation alone. Protect passwords, private customer information, confidential documents, and other sensitive data. Do not place protected information in an unapproved environment. Look for missing perspectives and ask who might be affected by the result. Medical, legal, financial, safety, employment, and security decisions require additional care and, when appropriate, a qualified professional. AI can assist a professional, but it should not erase professional accountability. The higher the stakes, the stronger the human verification must be. These ideas can be summarized as a small set of practical habits. 5 habits make AI dramatically more useful. First, give it a clear goal so it does not have to guess what success means. Second, provide relevant context so it can make informed choices. Third, ask for a useful format so the result is easier to apply. Fourth, continue the conversation, because a first draft can be corrected and improved. Fifth, verify before using the result, especially when accuracy or safety matters. Keep your own thinking active throughout all 5 steps. Effective AI use combines clear communication, active thinking, thoughtful collaboration, and responsible review. These habits matter more than memorizing clever prompt tricks. Choose one useful task that is small enough for you to review. You might ask AI to explain something you are learning, improve a message, summarize a non-sensitive document, create a checklist, brainstorm alternatives, review a draft, or investigate a small coding problem. Give the task a clear goal, relevant context, requirements, a useful format, and a way to verify the result. Do not begin with confidential information or an irreversible high-stakes decision. Compare the AI-assisted result with what you would have produced independently. Improve the prompt once and notice what changes. Over time, keep a personal collection of approaches that work well. Start small, review carefully, and build confidence through practice. Before we close, take a moment to reflect and ask any questions. What feels clearer now? Where could AI help you, and how will you stay in control of the result? Take a moment to choose one small, real, low-risk task you could try after this presentation. Then decide how you will review or verify the AI-assisted result. Your first attempt does not need to be perfect. The goal is to start, compare, and improve. If you have a question about AI, ChatGPT, prompts, tokens, applications, or Codex, this is a good time to ask. Curiosity helps us explore what is possible. Judgment helps us remain responsible for what we do with it. Let us finish with one simple message. Thank you for learning with me. Artificial intelligence is most useful when people provide clear direction, understand its limits, and remain responsible for the result. Think first, use AI as assistance. Examine what it produces, and improve the final work with your own judgment. Try one small, reviewable task within the next day or week, and treat the experience as a conversation rather than a test. Stay curious, keep thinking, and use AI responsibly. Humans lead, AI assists. End of presentation.